guys, this is Kita from the Kita Fit YouTube channel. How are you? Okay, so today I'm super passionate about what I want to talk about because I think it's pretty crucial to kind of what's going on right now in our world and in our society. So here goes. How many times do you notice that when someone asks us about a situation, or say we're in an environment where we're sharing a story about someone or something, I want you to just pause for a moment inside of yourself. So this is going to take a big responsibility within ourselves, and believe me, our ego is not going to want to do this. We're not going to want to do this, but I want you to just kind of play around with this in your mind. I want you to think about this. Think about the last time you shared a personal story about someone. I got a perfect scenario. Okay, Thanksgiving's coming up. So I want you to think about a story you have about a relative. I want you to think about a story you have about a relationship, about your relatives, or a story about a family dynamic. And I want you to kind of ask yourself, why does that situation bother you so much? What is it in that situation that really drives you to be upset about? And I'm going to go ahead and just share a real personal story with y'all here, and I hope she doesn't mind. But I want to just tell you, my mother-in-law, my husband's mom, used to bring about great pain for me, and great heartache, and great stress, and just honestly a lot of sadness. And I know I did that same thing for her. We both had our stories about who the other person was, and I know this can happen a lot of time in in-law situations. There's always going to just be personality clashes. There's just always going to be, you know, something about that person, right? It's a boundary. It's so many things. Boundary issues, it can be so many different things. But anyway, for me, I'll tell you, we have a successful relationship now, and I'll tell you how that happened. That happened because I decided to change the lens that I was seeing her through. I decided that enough is enough. I think it was like 12 years that we had gone on this not good relationship. And I just made a decision. I made a decision, and I think she had a stroke because I just picked up the phone. It was in the summer, and I just said, hey, we're going to go. A bunch of us are going to the races. You want to go? And I'm sure she fainted because I think there was like, I was like, hello, McFly. There was nobody on the other end. But the neat thing was, guess what? I think she was ready for the change too, because she said yes. And it was an opportunity for us both to show up in a new way. So here's the cool thing. Here's the cool thing. For me, a lot of it has to do with my personal faith and my relationship with Christ. And I just said, Lord, I gotta put this in your hands. But this video isn't about that. This video is about this specific thing, and that is the lens from which we sometimes can view someone else. And let me tell you what I think is a huge paradigm shifter. And get ready for this, because again, your ego is not going to want to hear this. But the paradigm shifter is this. We honestly operate from our pain, from our fears. We initially operate, I think, from when we are telling a story about someone to a group of people, like say it's a Bible study, or just a group of people, like, oh, well, she's this or that. We love to identify these other people as something's wrong with them. I mean, how often do you hear someone in a study say, you know what, I need to be, you know what the problem is? I need to be kinder. You know what the problem is? I have a plank in my eye. Do you know what the problem is? I'm a bastard. Do you know what the problem is? I'm an a-hole. Do you know what the problem is? You want to know what the real problem is in my family? I'm selfish. You want to know what the real problem is in my family? I don't communicate. Do you know what the real problem is in my family? I don't give enough love. Do you know what the real problem is within my family? I block love. Whatever it is. So for me, with my relationship with Sherry, it had nothing to do with her. It had everything to do with the pain that I had with my relationship with my mom. with my issues of abandonment, with my issues of not being accepted, with my issues of not being good enough. And I didn't learn this from any therapist. I wish I could say, gosh, I went to this therapist and man, she was amazing. I actually got it from going to therapy and my therapist going, oh my gosh, this is so terrible, how awful, and like enrolling in my story. And I'm gonna tell you, if you're around a bunch of people that are enrolling in your story and your story of who people are, you're gonna stay stuck, and that's gonna be your fairy tale. That's gonna be your life. You need to be around people that are truth seekers and people that are gonna kind of hold you accountable and people that are gonna be like, you know what is it about the story or this relationship that is you speaking on yourself? So I want you to ask yourself, like, the next time you think about, oh, she's a problem child, or oh, he's the black sheep, why are you saying that? Are you saying that? Why are you saying that? And why are you identifying that person with that? And ask yourself, are you the one that wanted to be the black sheep? Are you the one that wanted to not have maybe standards held so high? I don't know. Ask that. And are you resentful about that? And are you angry about that? And look within yourself. You know, this whole political, what's happening in the political side, Trump or Clinton, like, why are you so upset about the other side? What is it that is so upsetting to you? And instead of expressing the blocking of why you're upset, let's get to the healing of why you're upset. Let's get to the undercurrent of what you think is the drama and the current and why you're so angry. It has nothing to do with it. It's like a Halloween goblin going, like, it has nothing to do with really what's underneath that. So I want you to just, you know, get underneath that. And this is going to take a lot of courage. This is going to take a lot. And, you know, I'll just share another story for myself. Is right now my husband's getting his PhD here at the University of Arizona. And let me just tell you, if you have a spouse or a loved one that's, you know, going after a higher degree, law school, med school, PhD, if you have a loved one that is, let's just say you have a loved one that's pursuing something, right? I'm going to be honest with you. For me, I'm just now getting out from underneath it because I was so used to always doing things with him, going in the car, driving, spending so much time together, and not having that time together made me miss him. But what I found is I was getting angry. And so I was being angry, right? But I was being, I'm not really a passive-aggressive person, but I could see myself being passive-aggressive. And as soon as I caught myself making it about, he's not doing the laundry, he's not cooking, he's not this, he's not that, I found myself, like, I was, getting angry about stuff. And what I realized is, okay, this needs to stop. And I need to get really clear on why it is that I'm sad or why it is I'm upset. And what it was I missed him. So I went in and sat down and I just said, I miss you. I miss our time together. I'm resentful because I feel like you're going and achieving this PhD and I'm cleaning a house and doing laundry. I feel like it's tough for me getting a job here. Just so many different things, right? But when I was really able to sit down with him and have that honest conversation, it's amazing the transformation that took place. He was able to see my authentic self and to see that I was really hurting and that I was really missing him. And I was able to see him, see me, and have just love for me. So just kind of see in your life, like in your relationships, if you're angry about something, it's not, I'm going to guarantee you, you're really not angry about what you think you're angry about. You're really angry. You're either in a state of fear, you're in a state of needing love. I think those are really the two things, are love and fear for me. Those are, if you to get underneath it, to get underneath it, to get underneath it, to get underneath it, to get underneath it. I think in mother and daughter relationships and in-laws, I think what it is and I'm just projecting here, but I think for Sherry, for my mother-in-law, it was maybe a sense of she was going to lose her son, which what I think now she realizes, she didn't lose a son, she gained a daughter. She gained someone that when she's 102 is going to dye her hair pink and put rhinestones on her fingernails. Right? I mean, her life is going to be fuller and brighter and even more beautiful. And sometimes her son doesn't like to give her all this zhuzh on the phone. Now she has someone that gives her the zhuzh and gives her like a cheerleading aspect of what's going on in her son's life. I think for me, I had to let go of her being judgmental of me, of her of feeling that, right? And just realizing that too, her love language and who she is, and this is key, is completely different than my love language and who I am. So realizing that someone's love language can be totally different than your love language is always going to be a real freedom. So, for example, my mother-in-law is not a touchy-touchy, feely person at all. In fact, it almost makes her uncomfortable. So the love language that she seeks is not that. Her love language is understanding you have certain boundaries, you need to keep a certain distance from her. When you give her that, then she relaxes, and then she relaxes down into her authentic self. For me, I'm like in your face. I want to touch your face. I want to Oh, I'm always like I mean, that's just me. That's my love language. The way that I communicate. I want you to always know I'm hanging on every word you're saying. I am so present. I'm like and for someone like my mother-in-law, I mean, she's like, oh my, it's like, oh my gosh, she gets freak out of my face. I mean, so I had to learn with her. I have to let her communicate the way she wants to communicate. I have to let her kind of just settle in with who she is. And not even just her, too. Now, I've taken it with everyone else. Not everyone is going to be kind of sitting at the birthday party like you are. Not everyone's going to be like, for me, I have the whistle in my mouth. I'm holding the balloons. I've got the hat on. I've got the music going. I've got the outfit on. I'm like beaming. And I used to have it that if you weren't like that you weren't having a good time. Just realize not everybody sits at the birthday party table with the hat, the glasses, the earrings, the hair. You know, some people just want to come to the table and they're just a little quieter, but that's their love language. There's nothing wrong with them. So kind of take all these things into consideration, kind of going into Thanksgiving, the holidays. The success is just, first of all, you got to go within yourself. Go within yourself and find out, you know, what is it that's bothering you, like if there's a situation, and just try to go under that and under that and under that, and try to find, because I find most reactions are coming from a lack of love or a presence of fear. And what you want to do is you want to switch the fear for the love. You want to say, first of all, awesome, I see I'm feeling fear. Fear is an amazing protective organism. It's a majorly, it's an amazing force, and I think it protects us. It protects us from being hurt. I mean, it's an amazing thing. But fear is always going to limit you. You're never going to fly to the highest of flights if you are in the state of fear. Love is going to be the person and the situation and the emotion and the presence that's going to lift you out of that. And I just remember that. Just, you know, try to get under that issue. And then, let me tell you, when you stand in the presence of love, see, we have it that you're weak, and we have it that, you know, nothing can come from that. And I'm going to tell you that with my relationship with my mother-in-law, I stand in the presence of love. And we have an amazing relationship, an amazing, like, I will just call her to talk to her for like an hour, like an amazing relationship. And that happened and can only happen because I stand in that presence of love. I stand in that presence of vulnerability. And when you're in that presence of just total love, you're being authentic and you're living in your authentic self. And that's what life is all about. That's the gift that we give ourselves and that we give each other. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So just you know,